One. Zach, what's going on, my guy? Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Mr.
Dude,
Babs.
thank you for coming, man. On
Yeah.
we kind of turned this around pretty quick here. We got it going in like 2 weeks, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, first time being a true podcast guest with a setup anything close to this, but if there's one thing I know how to do, it's talk.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I should have told you
ramble.
beforehand though not to wear that Vegas night shirt. I mean, goodness gracious,
Go
coming in here.
Bolts. Go Bolts.
Yeah, there
I
you go.
wear the shirt,
That's the proper
but
thing.
very much go Bolts always.
We're all Lightning fans here. We're from Tampa, so you know how it is. I had to give you a little bit of shit for it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I
I
respect
understand.
it. I respect.
I
I
understand.
actually love the Golden Knights logo, but just yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
it's a
okay.
good logo.
It's
It's a good
okay.
logo.
You know, I wear this shirt because, it's my second home and this shirt was given to me for free. So, fuck it.
You were
But
telling us before this you lived in Vegas.
yes, Tampa, born and raised always, but 5 years of my life, 6 years, I lived in Vegas during my middle school years, so it'll always be my second home. Pretty cool place to
Okay.
call your second home when you got, things like EDC over there and all kinds of other shit. So
You were younger though when you
I
were
was
there.
younger. I was a little boy. So now when I go back there as an adult, it's definitely interesting and seeing how far it's came. And now you got all this shit like the sphere coming in. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
wait, do you have friends that are still there that you like keep in touch with and see?
Yeah, very much so. I have a lot of people over there that I will always hold pretty close to me, and some of them over the years have even become ravers too. And
Right.
I may or may not be spending a good chunk of Base Canyon with one of my friends from middle school. So,
Nice.
it just amazes me how this community connects me with random people, man, from all different parts of my life. So that's like actually one of my favorite things about going to all these fests, whether it's in Florida or not.
Yeah, one of my favorite things by far is the same when you get into the scene and you start meeting people at different festivals, you start hanging with them, you become good friends. And obviously, like, there's always people you run into at every fest. I know you always have those people though that like you get their numbers and you always forget to talk and text. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're in the crowd,
yeah.
you're all fucked up. You're like, oh my god, dude, you're so cool. And you guys forget to text. But then there's some that stick, right? Like
Yeah,
you've got
yeah,
some that like you start to travel with outside. They start going to other events with that are out of the state, or
yeah.
they come back to visit Florida and stuff of that nature. But it's cool to see how those friendships can evolve too. Like they started with music, then you started traveling to go see music, and then maybe now you travel to see everyone else, one
Yeah.
another, or you travel out to do something else besides music to now.
I'll
It's kind of
definitely
cool.
agree. The people and just finding everyone that I love from years of doing this is actually become such a significant portion of like why I'll send any given event. And yeah, I actually have like made it a point, especially with ravers, when you're, fucked up in the crowd like that and you're trying to you have a great interaction with them or whatever. I'd rather get their Insta over phone numbers
Right.
because you don't know who the hell you're talking. You don't even remember who that was. I think like if you follow them on Insta, that's like visually how you remember who you were talking to, and then whether you immediately you know build that connection or not, you can like see their lives and what events they're going to and be like, hey, shit, I'll be there too. Let's meet up and rage for a little while. It's just like more personable, I think, and easier to really like have a stronger connection as opposed to just like the phone number. No one really cares to like, you know,
Hmm.
make it a point to text someone they only interacted with for like 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I
So
get it. Can you move your mic a bit closer? I apologize.
yeah, yeah,
Just so
you're
we can
fine.
do. One of the things I will say, it does start to get hard when you start to meet too many people, and there
That's
are
a
certain
good
ones that
problem
you
to
really
have.
keep. It is a good thing to have, but like, it doesn't happen at every fest, of course. But certain festivals, it's like, all of a sudden you're like, crap, I don't know how I'm gonna meet 30 people. Like, unless I can like
I've
coordinate
recently
where
been
like
having that
unless I can
sort of
coordinate where you
issue.
like, hey, let's all meet up for this set on this side or whatever. Like it's
Yeah,
super hard to get
dude,
that going.
you're absolutely right. And based off of exactly what you just said, I've had some points, especially at SMF and FK recently, where I'll have like multiple different squads all in my
Hmm.
vicinity during like this set that I've been fucking hyped for all weekend. And those like are really the moments where I just like I zoom out a little bit. I just see how many people I got that I all fucking love around me, and then you got just banger after banger coming on. You're like, damn, this is it. This is why I'm here, man. This is
It's
why I'm here. I love it.
it's fun when your rave squads start to meet.
Yeah, start
because you have
mingling a
different
little
ones,
bit.
sounds like, right? And I have
Yeah,
different ones too.
absolutely.
And it's fun when they start to meet and hang out and meet one another. And then it's also like a weird thing when some start hanging out more, like you don't even organize it and they're like, oh, we're all camping together now, and you're like, oh, we're
Yes,
all
yes.
we're all hanging out now, and it's like a cool thing to see.
Right. If you
So it's
can't make one, then they'll just
yes,
kind of integrate.
yeah, it's somehow one another, you start meeting up more and more, and then those people become friends. One of our good friends, or one of my good friends, Ryan, is who I think of when that comes to mind. He, I've known him from college, and it was like he was my college friend. He had his group, and like I would go visit them sometimes during a set. Next
Yeah.
thing I know, now he's like, him and some of his friends are fully like, we just camped at Okeechobee, we just went
Yep.
to
Yep.
FK, all that stuff together. So it was like
True.
just
Where did you go
interesting
to
things.
school?
College wise,
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
to Florida State. Yeah, yeah. I know. I saw. Actually, I was thinking about bringing that up too. I saw that on your thing that
Let's
you were a
go,
Gator.
baby. Let's
Yeah.
go. Hey, I used to take
Going
that
where?
rivalry so seriously too. In college, I would be the guy who would just sit there and want the problems. I would want the problems and just talk all my shit. But I mean, over the years, naturally, you just understand it's all ebbs and flows with sports, and y'all are gonna win 5 years. We're gonna win 5 years. But I just have fun with the friendly banter now a little bit.
It's fun. Well, for me, it's interesting because I've never really gotten into the banter.
Yeah.
I grew up a Gator,
Oh,
believe it or not.
okay, okay. Well
So
then,
like
yeah,
my dad's
you're
a big Gator
impartial.
fan. So I just happened to go to Tallahassee and go. I mean now because I went there. Yes, I do root for the Seminoles more.
No, yeah, I
But like
totally
I
get
have
that.
nothing. I'm never like watching a Gator game and I'm like, man, I hate the Gators. Like I never like if they're facing
Yeah,
someone else, I'm like, I'm gonna root for Florida. I'm gonna root for Florida.
yeah, it's definitely
So
not quite
it's
the same.
interesting.
I have
No,
no family members associated with FSU, always grown up since I was a child in orange and blue. So, yeah,
yeah, it's an
I just,
interesting dynamic. I
it
mean,
is
definitely,
for
my dad
sure.
gives me a lot of shit for sure.
I just had so many friends that have went there, and even an FSU girlfriend at one point when I was at UF. So I've gotten pretty familiar with Tally, and
So you gotta
you know,
admit, our campus is way better.
no, I had a lot of fun there. I had a lot of fun there. They're both great schools for what they are. There's no doubt. It's just part of the rivalry. You're on
Yeah.
one side. You can't like be on both sides of the fucking rivalry.
No, no, I understand
Even you,
that.
even in your case, you gotta
Yeah,
like kind of lean towards one at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can admit our school's better party school.
I don't know. I'm not gonna admit that.
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna admit that.
I
I,
think
I
you
had a
have
lot
to
of fun
admit
though.
that.
I had a
I
lot of fun. There's no doubt that your
dude,
school is absolutely known for being a party
there
school.
were there
But
were
I mean, I had
sororities
my
at your
fair
school that
share.
would do their like formals up. They would take a
Oh,
bus. They would get a party bus and come up to
I don't know about
Tallahassee
all
for the
that.
night.
I don't know about all that information. I was just, I didn't,
100% facts.
I wasn't even in Greek
No
life or
lies.
anything at UF. So obviously Greek life runs, these big schools like UF and FSU. So I just wanted to have fun with it. Just super happy that I even got the experience there at all because I transferred from USF after a couple years. So I'm actually like a bull gator in
Okay.
that aspect. But I've
Okay.
always, since I was a child,
Wanted to be a
been
gator.
raised that way. Yeah, I was just super happy to have gotten the chance to go there.
And you got a journalism degree.
I did get a journalism degree. I was doing like local news reporting in school, what you'd see on like Channel 5 News or whatever, making stories. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I think it did so much to start getting me out of my comfort zone in such a different way. And, it really was like one of the first building blocks that helped me feel so happy where I'm at right now in terms of being able to just like talk to and have a really good connection with damn near anybody I come in contact with.
Yeah,
And that's really important to me.
and you kind of use that journalism degree. I mean, I know it's not your full time thing, but you
Yeah.
do write for All Time EDM, from my understanding, right?
Yes, yes, I do.
And I want to dive into that a bit because
Absolutely.
one, I know there's probably some other people that want to be involved in the scene somehow, one way or another.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually used to write articles. People don't know that.
Okay,
I wrote
okay.
for a small magazine or small internet blog called Heard It Here First.
Okay.
I don't
I
know
feel
if
like I
they've
may have heard
gotten
that
any
name
bigger. You
before.
can see if you can pull that up. What are you drafting over there?
He's got the notes pad
I thought he
going.
was. I thought he was doing his fantasy football draft.
Oh, that's way
That
early to do a
season,
fantasy draft.
maybe.
Shit, somebody tears their ACL in
He
preseason.
had a well. He was with his fantasy crew the other day. That's why I said that. I
Oh,
thought,
okay,
oh, maybe
okay.
they scheduled it already. Um, just heard it here first. Music. I don't know. It's not gonna be you heard it. Just heard it here first. Blog, EDM blog. Sure, it'll come up. But yeah, so I wrote for them for a little bit. I don't
Okay.
know if you can even find my articles anymore. It's probably buried buried deep down in
buried in
there.
the depths.
But
Yeah.
so let's start with how did you get started in that field? You know, what was the reasoning? How did you reach out to All Time EDM? Did they reach out to you? How did that all go down? Kind of curious.
Yeah, so the way you just said, for people to be involved some way in the scene, I think this was a way for me to kind of go that direction where like obviously I want to do something in my life that I'm passionate about. I don't ever want to settle in a job that I'm not really excited to go in every day. This is me just kind of putting my foot in the door. They were looking for writers, and I'd followed that page for so many, like literally 3, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm already familiar with the content they put out. And when they said they were looking for writers, even though it's just interns, I know I wouldn't be getting paid to do it. I was just like, I could shit out an article about subtronics like I already have, and just 7 lines, and anybody, and I have love for so many different subgenres, whether it's dubstep or beautiful melodic music or house, whatever, drum and bass. I could talk about this type of stuff all day, so why not write about it? I already have those foundational skills to be able to do that, and it's been good. I mean, the guy who runs the page, Kyle, he's really cool. He's been really like understanding about the fact that we don't need to be pumping out articles like every other day or anything. It's just kind of like on your own time, and whenever you see something that is newsworthy and you really feel like passionate about it, you can just kind of takes me probably about 45 minutes
Yeah.
to start to finish, like start really the first paragraph compared to when I'm submitting it. So
Right.
it's not like too time consuming. It is something really cool to do on the side though, especially my first couple articles that I wrote, they got pretty good amounts of interactions on the page. I remember I wrote one for Subtronics being their article or their artist of the year for all time EDM, and that article got like more interactions than pretty much anything I scrolled through on that entire page. And I was like, damn, bro, it's only my second article. I'm like, this kind of nice. It's kind of cool just to be able to create something that even gets that much attention, and people, whether they read it or not, like they at least give a shit in some way. And you know I have a lot of personality in a lot of the things that I do, so I try and kind of put that into writing,
Right.
and it's not too difficult for me to do, so
So do you
why
get to
not?
pick what artists you get to write about? Do you get to pick what events? How I from what I looked at when I was looking at your page, you did a lot more artist coverage than
Yeah,
festival. But are you able to do both? Is there a process how it does that? Like how talk us through a little bit of that.
for sure. You can pretty much talk about whatever you want. If you see something that you think is newsworthy, it's pretty much whoever claims it first.
Mm-hmm.
So like if 3 different people, want to talk about an album that just dropped, then it's pretty much whoever claims it first and says,
Right.
"Hey, I'm gonna write about this." And yeah,
That's
it's
how
not.
ours was too. We would get fed like he
Yeah,
would send us like here's 3 things about the new music coming out on Friday, and you kind of was just like, all right, you want I want to Jessica Alfred, or you the first one, perfect, boom, you got it. Like it was just like
yeah,
that. Like that's kind of how
exactly.
it was.
Yeah,
So if you were hungry for it, you could
pretty
write
much,
a
pretty
lot
much.
more articles, and your name could technically be out there more.
It could. Yeah,
If again if people, I don't know if people like look at like who's it by and stuff of that nature, but like I mean I would think if you wrote a lot, people would start to notice, be like, oh, who is this person? Now I don't know if do they have it where like you can connect your socials and stuff to that? I don't know if that's something some do it,
um,
some don't, like that nature, like they allow
well,
or the
when they
writer
make the
can get
post,
they make you the host.
when they like post the article on Instagram with the graphic, he makes the graphics. Like we write the articles and he makes the graphics that are put out on the Instagram post, and like your name or your handle as the artist is in the caption.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's like
nice.
you can just, you can see who wrote it by clicking on the person's um handle, and then that's the credit. I don't need any more credit than that at the end of the day. Like it's just cool to be part of something like this. Like All Time EDM certainly has a good amount of I mean, dude, 201K. That's way more than I even saw the last time I checked.
Yeah, they've been doing some
Um,
real stuff. They got some good things going.
yeah, yeah,
They've
they've
done
been.
a few things with me actually,
Oh,
so
okay.
I like what is well, we'll talk about that after actually.
They've been posting a lot of like
Ooh, click the
content-based
sphere.
stuff recently.
Let's go. And we're going back to Vegas, baby.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Can't
Nah,
ever escape it.
dude, I don't even know what
Oh my
that's
god.
like
Oh wait, did we
overwhelming,
click? I
man.
didn't click. Hold on.
That
Click
is
out
just
it. Click out of it. No, no, click out of the video and go back in. I'll switch it. Yeah,
Trying to
give
like
it to me. Give it to us now. Let's see it now. There it is. It's back. Now the crowd can see it. They should be able to. Let's
based
check.
off the fact that it's like sort of seats like that. I don't know how much there
I didn't
would
even
be
know it
space
was
for a
like
dance
that. I
floor.
thought it was like. Actually, I
That's
did
just
know it was like
nuts.
that. It's just the angle he took the video at is different. Yeah, so it goes up like that.
Watching,
It's
I
so
mean,
crazy.
whether it's
Oh my gosh.
Excision Visuals or Seven Lines or anybody like that who has like some really in-depth subtronics, like that would just absolutely make you have a meltdown.
People
I
are gonna
mean,
be like
if you're fucked up
teleported
on
to like
stuff,
another dimension on that. There's
yeah,
no doubt in my mind. The sphere is gonna teleport people to another
you
dimension.
can't even put that into words. Like if you're sitting there and it's just completely surrounding you, I feel like almost overwhelming for some people who may or may not get overwhelmed easily. Like that's a lot.
I
That's a lot to take in.
I
And that would
wish
probably cost so much.
I wish more EDM artists could play there, but that I don't think they're gonna be playing there.
I mean,
That
that
might
just
be a
looks
hot
like it
take,
would
but I don't think
cost
they're going to play.
out the ass for the artist to be able to put on a show in there. And you're probably, I mean, it looks like you'd only have to be able to book artists like massive on a global scale who could afford to
I
put on a
think
show there, like
some of
Taylor
the
Swift
first
or some
shows
shit.
tickets are going for like
Yeah,
$1,200.
that's just
Right, like it's there's a price point because they have to make back the $2 billion that they used to make this. I
yeah,
mean, it is wild. It is crazy that we're at
that's
this
real
point where we can
epilepsy.
make stuff like that. Yeah, that's so nuts. All right, I think so we've watched it like 40 times.
Yeah, no, I mean it is just wild to look at. I mean, and that's them setting it up, but God forbid the first video comes out in that sphere of real visuals going on, like IMAX style, it's gonna be viral.
Have you seen? Oh, I can't remember the term or who it was, but like at Lost Lands, they had that one dome you could go into with the visuals. Gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Caverns of
Lost Lands?
Illusion. Type in Caverns of Illusion and watch it come up. Type in Caverns of Illusion Lost Lands.
Is that
Illusion.
Lost Lands? Holy shit.
ILL.
I certainly haven't been there.
Illusions. Type in Lost Lands. Should,
Yeah, it looks like it says 2019 down there. I don't know if that's
oh, I didn't see that down there. Still type it out. Lost Lands. Click on one of them. Just click on one of them, and then fast forward, and make sure the volume's off for this. Yeah, like this. If
Dude,
they
I've
were
never seen
able
that. A
to
360 dome at
do
Lost Lands. Maybe they got rid of that after
well, it
COVID.
wasn't. It wasn't a stage. It's
Even
this.
if it wasn't.
I'm positive. It's just
I've
this.
never seen it, so I'd love to see it if
It's
that's the
just
case.
this like trippy. It's the Caverns of Illusions. It's just like
Yeah.
this trippy, where you're like go in, you're like whoa, what is? And it's like they would have a line down the walkways,
Right,
and it
right,
would be,
okay.
and it's a 20-minute show where like a presentation of whatever this is, and it comes and pops out at you. Fast forward it a bit more. I just want to see if it shows more on the screen. Like go fast forward a lot. Fast forward. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's pretty crazy.
That's what we want to see right there.
I'm always
Look
like
at
a
that.
sucker for doing stuff like
So
this
you're like
at
sitting
fests.
and it's above you,
Yeah.
and you're like watching it. Like, oh.
Yeah, the Wooks would love that one.
Yeah, they did. I'm sure they did. All right,
Jeez.
we'll take it.
I'll have to keep an eye out for if that even exists at this year's Lost Lands. It'll be my third year
They
this
got.
year, so
They
I don't
kind
know.
of got rid of it.
Oh, they
I
did?
think. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that makes more sense. I was like,
Yeah.
I'd never seen that in my life. Holy
Well,
shit.
I mean, it was there 2019. I don't think it was there 2020, or it wasn't 2020.
2021 was my first one.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember if it was there or not. 2021 was a good year though to go.
Oh, I mean, okay, so 2021 was the year that like I pretty much ramped up my entire festival life. I mean,
Okay.
before COVID, I would never expand beyond SMF and EDC, and I think the whole pandemic of bringing EDM Twitter like really close together, even though there was obviously a lot of bullshit that happened, there was a lot of really good things that came out of like this community during the pandemic. And I don't know, I guess since I didn't have too much to spend money on for a whole year, I kind of just was like, all right, I'm gonna start diving in more. And I
Yeah,
went to
I think.
everything that I never was able to go to. I just all at once in 2021 went crazy. And now every year, this is like my third year in a row where it's like I'm making credit payments left and right to pay off all the fucking festivals that I just send,
Oh
and
my goodness.
it's
You're crazy.
but like I can make it happen. I don't know. Like I just, I'm never really too far behind in my bank account. Like God forbid I actually stop going to festivals, I'd be able to save up a little bit. But like I've had too many life experiences to stop now.
I
God
feel like
damn.
that's the general consensus I get from the community is like so many people just like spend, spend,
Yeah,
spend,
dude.
and
It
so many
snowballs. It
don't
snowballs
save.
really quickly.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's the FOMO part of it is I think what gets people is like they're like, oh my god, I can't miss this event. Like, oh my god, that
No, it
lineup.
is.
Oh my god, that lineup. And it's like,
It is.
I will say though, I think you get to a point. I'm just speaking from experience because I went to a lot the last 2 years as well, and
Hmm.
prior to, and you get to a point where like just the lineups all start looking the same. So you're like,
Yeah,
all right,
to an extent.
I have seen XYZ so
10
many
times.
times
Yeah.
now that it's just like and not that they're still not good. Like I will say like I in 2022 I saw Excision, not exaggerating, not even intentionally, but there's no doubt I saw
No,
him like
yeah.
15 times.
I'm 100% with you.
And by the end of it I was just like,
100%.
I gotta go.
That's
I'm
kind of
gonna
where I'm at
like,
right now with him.
yeah, and nothing against. Like every time I go to a set, I was like, oh, that's still really good. The visuals are still really good. The music, the flow, everything's very good. But
Yeah.
it's just like I've just seen it so much that like
Yeah.
I need a break.
I think like with that topic, it is really cool to see over the years, even if you've seen someone 10 times, like, yeah, I've seen, Excision or Subtronics a whole fuck ton of times by now, but seeing how their sets change and evolve really like quickly. I mean, every year they put out just a complete brand new set, and I think, seeing how their sets evolve with all the new music they put out, is one thing. But I'm also, the way you said the lineups all begin to look the same after a certain point. I'm just a whore for the rare sets. Like I cannot miss the Excision back-to-back Subtronics at Base Canyon.
The
I mean,
rumored, but yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's
we'll
gonna
see.
happen. No, I mean it's
I
definitely
mean, no
gonna
one
happen.
knows.
It's definitely gonna. If it's not, that would be the biggest fucking buzzkill of all time. But just an example like that, or some people aren't too huge about back to backs for whatever reason. They'd rather see the artist solo, or their styles might not perfectly blend together. But
Yep.
I don't know. I love seeing, if I love both the artists in any given back to back, I love to see just both of their bangers one by one by one, and you don't even know what's coming at all. They can really surprise you a
Hmm.
lot more, I think.
Yeah, I mean it does take that's the thing with like back to backs in my opinion. Certain ones blend very well, certain ones don't.
Yeah,
Like
you can tell.
it's just a fact. Like I think one of the better ones that blends well is Slander and Nightmare. Good Vibrations.
Yes, yes.
It
That was
blends
really fun.
very well, surprisingly. There's a few others that I've been. Oh, my watch is lovely. My there's a few others that have surprised me over the years. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think back to them, and there's some that are just cool. Like you said, there are some that are definitely cool to see. Like Millennium Excision, obviously that's really
yeah,
cool to see. The two
yeah.
biggest
They're
names in
opposites,
it,
though.
right, and opposites, right. But still, like first time it happened, crazy to see. You
Yeah,
know, just
yeah.
something you
You
don't.
were there.
Yes,
I was not at
yes.
that set, but
But you
that was.
saw it.
I saw it at Base Canyon though,
Yeah. So you've been to Base
2021.
Canyon.
This is my third year at Base Canyon.
Oh, nuts.
First year they had Excision back to back Millennium. Second year they had Excision back to back Wooly.
See, now I think that would be good.
That was
Right.
ridiculous.
Their
And now they
sounds
got
work.
Subtronics coming in year three. Um,
Pretty confident over here. This guy. This
dude,
guy's pretty
look at that
confident.
shit. Look at
Zoom
that
in. Can you
shit.
zoom in on that for us?
Look at that. And everybody knows it too. It's not just me. Everybody fucking knows it. There's nobody else that could be. And they already gave it away, by the way, by the Bunker Buster lyrics. They already gave it away.
What do you mean
Like
the bunker buster lyrics?
unintentionally, intentionally. They made a post about it, and they purposefully said they were going to keep it hidden up until the weekend, but they said just know that the artists are going to turn that shit up. So like, of course it's gonna be Subtronics. That's the dead giveaway right there. Trust me, I would not be fucking around about this if I thought it was someone else.
This guy's pretty confident. This guy's pretty
I'm
confident.
slightly confident, but yeah, I mean, even
You're the guy that walks in the casino and is like everything
no.
on black, and then you lose. That's what it is. It's
Did
that
you just
confidence
did you
of.
just pull out my sleep paralysis demon of roulette on me completely?
You have a bad story?
No, no, just
What's the
completely
sleep
unprompted,
paralysis
bro.
part?
Me,
Sounds like
I have quite a few friends where over the years we just have just jokes about roulette and throwing 100 on black or red, and I've had my fair share of fun with roulette. I don't even play it anymore because it just brings me stress. But you to just bring that up right now out of nowhere, it's like you already knew, concerns me a little bit.
no, I had no idea. It's just that's what it reminded me of. You're like, I'm this confident. Like I
I
like
am not
because we
that
have the same
confident
thing.
in
Like we have
casinos.
buddies that are like this. They're like, we're going in. We're gonna make money, and then they
I
always
can't do
don't
that.
leave. We always leave in the hole.
Keep me away from casinos at this point in my life.
We're going to the Hard Rock right after this.
Are you serious?
You're coming, right?
No.
That's part of the podcast. We
No.
go. We
Absolutely not.
podcast for an hour and we go out.
Absolutely not.
We go play a couple of hands.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this.
It's a Monday, baby. We gotta get
Oh.
moving here.
Ah, full degenerate. I can
Um,
go full degenerate at any time though, so I will say that.
I think that's a raving quality.
Yeah.
We've got our moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are working a lot of different jobs or working a lot, and then we have that weekend where it's like turning it on this weekend and then back to work. 2 days later.
Yeah, it really is crazy to think about, when, like we said earlier, you see the same people at so many different events, and like, they're always in crackhead mode. They're always so energetic and so full of like life, love, whatever, and then, you don't really see them during their 9 to 5s as much unless they're part of like your immediate group that you really do see every day. So there's so many people that I only see at raves. You just have no idea what their everyday life is like in their 9 to 5 jobs, and like what's going on up here when they're not raging.
People definitely got to be careful, man, with them back to backs and taking a lot of stuff. It can do some damage. It can do
No,
some
it
damage.
can. It can. I've had an epiphany or two about understanding when my body has had enough
Yeah.
of something and needing to stop.
It's definitely something to take in consideration. And the weird thing is like you don't notice it, and I don't mean you as in you. I just mean in general, like as a person, you don't
Mhm.
notice it that it's affecting you until you take a step back. Even if you don't do it intentionally, like I'll use myself as an example. Like I had done stuff back to back, and like I'd been raving for a little bit, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just chill for like 3 or 4 months
Right.
and just relax. And I did that, and took like was taking some 5-HTP like every day just to like get back into it. And
Yeah.
this is not even like right after a festival. I don't even mean that. I just mean like throughout this 2 month period. I had it. I was taking it occasionally because I was like, it can't hurt like to rebuild serotonin, all
Right.
that while I'm just chilling. And then I remember like a week and a half into taking it in this hiatus, I was like, oh damn, I'm like feeling energized again. I'm feeling mentally focused again. It was like
That's
very
good.
weird how like it just came out of nowhere. And then I carried that for the next month, and then the next month, and I was like, dang, I'm like I haven't raved or gone to a festival in 4 months. I'm
Yeah.
feeling extremely good.
That's
like
crazy, man. I've only taken 5-HTP maybe a couple times ever. I've had,
it's
had
not
it
like
offered to me before.
it's not like a cure all fix all,
Absolutely.
but I mean it's definitely something that you can take that's going to help you with your down. First off, it would help anyone in general. Again, you don't have to take it just because like you
Depletion of
of your
serotonin.
deplete
Right,
serotonin
right, right.
serotonin depletion. Yeah, there's no reason you need to take it. But even if you're like feeling down and you just want to like take it to maybe get out of a funk, or you just maybe need that pick me up, it's not a horrible idea to do. And now you do get one of the side effects of it is drowsiness, so it's best to take it at night. I did not know that. Oh my
Okay.
god, I had such a funny story about that. I had this multivitamin. It was expensive, and that was a mood enhancing multivitamin. But because I couldn't find 5-HTP, and I found this one, and it had 5-HTP in it, and also
Okay.
had some other things. I had to find it what it had. I just bought it at Walgreens, so I'm not like anything crazy. But like
Yeah.
I was taking it during the day, and I took it for a week straight, and I was like at work, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like so tired, and I couldn't figure. I'm like, I slept 8 hours last night. I had coffees. I'm like, I am so tired, and I had no idea that 5-HTP causes drowsiness. So I like
Yeah.
looked on the and then just by accident, I like was looking at the thing, and I was like, cause it said like clear. There wasn't even like might. It was like this will cause drowsiness. And I was
Okay.
like, oh my god. And I stopped taking it. Sure enough, the next day, back to normal. No problem working
Yeah.
throughout the day. But I was like, dang, I gotta take these at night. Otherwise, I'm passing out.
Yeah, it's really interesting about that type of stuff. I've been very lucky where I never feel like truly serotonin depleted. I mean, yeah, everybody who goes to a 3-day festival or any camping festival or whatever, you're gonna have a couple days where you feel like dead and you just physically and mentally need rest. But I never truly have felt like I'm just depressed after a fest. I mean, I guess I've been very lucky to never really have serious depression at all in my life. I've
Yeah.
always tried my best to have a life for myself that keeps me happy and not let me slip into something like that. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that you can do
Right.
after a festival to slowly but surely replenish what you lost. And it's like you're only out there for a few days, and like it takes so long to get all that back.
Yeah. So one of the main things with a Molly come down that like causes you to have really bad depression, actually more so than anything, more than so than taking in all the effects, is actually the lack of sleep. So it's the lack of sleep on top
Okay.
of that. So if you're able to get a decent amount of rest for
Yeah,
those 3 days, you're actually more than likely gonna not feel super depressed.
that might be
it's
why.
it's literally, I didn't know that for 2 or 3 years
I
until
didn't
I
know that
started
till
like
right now.
looking into things. That's what it is. It's not, yes, the side effects do have that effect where you might feel maybe sluggish and a little bit more down, and certainly some people, unlike, some people have it where it would make them depressed, but it actually is the lack of sleep for most people that really, by the, day 3 of you on 2 hours of sleep,
Oh, fuck
not
no.
only are you sluggish from the drugs and coming off of that, you're also now so exhausted. Which, I mean, think about it. When you start to think about it, you're like, oh yeah, if I don't, even if I don't do anything and I'm not getting sleep, I feel like angry. I feel disgruntled. I can be depressed. Like, you could just throws your body off. You know
The
that with
drugs
no
are the only
sleep.
thing that suppress that from you being full, like irritated at day 3 or 4 of a fest.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah, I
Just the
always make
drugs
jokes
suppress
about like
that.
day 3 at the camping festival. Everyone's like like wants to kill each other.
Yeah,
Everyone's on
yeah.
their last nerve.
I mean, I definitely make sleep an emphasis. I've only done 2 full camping experiences before at Lost Lands and Oki, but most of my festivals I have a hotel or Airbnb, and I mean, I'd like to keep the party going as much as anybody after the
Oh
fest is
yeah.
over, but like, I'm gonna get my 8 hours, bro, because I know that I'm gonna want to be there early the next day, and I don't want my lack of sleep to make my festival experience worse. Like, I mean, this is a life experience at the end of the day, no matter what festival you're at. Like, it's a big deal to be there just at all, and you want to be able to make the most of it and be your best.
Yeah,
So sleep is
100%.
huge.
100%. Yeah, there's so many different things to do to get ready and be prepared for it, hydration, all that stuff. I know,
Yeah,
me, every morning on a camping festival, there's like 3 things I have. I have like a liquid IV, I have an emergency to get some vitamin C and like immune support, and I have a protein shake. And like I have those 3 things every morning, and I
yeah.
usually feel like by the, and it doesn't usually, I have the liquid IV last, but by the time I have that and that gets into my system, like 30 minutes after chugging that liquid IV, I'm like, all of a sudden I can feel my body like it's like ready to go again. It's
Yeah,
got that recharge of things, of at least the basis things. Then I'll eat lunch too on top of it. But like, yeah, that was like, I started to do that the
the
last two
eating
years
is
and
huge.
needed it. Dude,
I've
Lost
I've
Lands this
realized
past year, the
you
weather
gotta eat.
was, oh well, yes, of course.
Like, people don't though. They
No,
just
people
wake up
don't.
and
It's
don't.
always a joke about like I'm
Gonna
haven't
eat one
eaten.
chicken tender.
Yeah, yeah, it's always a joke. I mean, because that's the thing, is like those drugs and substances that most of them are on
Yeah,
don't make you want to
they
eat.
suppress
Like, yeah, most of
appetites.
the time food tastes like absolute junk, like garbage to
Even
me.
if it does, you just have to like understand that you know your body's gonna need that nourishment. And even if it
Yeah.
doesn't taste great, you just need to fucking shove it in there
And
because
it's funny
it
is
makes a
like I feel like
difference.
those people that make those jokes, and granted I make those jokes too on my
Yeah,
page and stuff,
no,
like, because it's
absolutely.
funny. But I don't
It's
know
funny.
if people have ever experienced a day where they take a substance and they haven't eaten a lot. I don't know if you have either. Have you? If you don't
What do
mind.
you mean?
So like one year at a certain festival, I took some lovely Molly, and I was chilling, but I had not eaten, like, I had a very little for lunch, just in very
Okay.
little nutrients in general, and it just kicked my ass to where I was like sitting,
I've had a
not
couple of
feeling
those.
good,
Yes.
And not only was it like, and it wasn't like, oh, you're coming up bad. It was like, no, no, I
You just feel
feel
like shit.
just like shit. I'm drained. I don't feel good. So I toughed it out, and then it didn't dawn on me until like an hour before the end of the festival. So I've been just toughing it out for like 4 hours, just miserable, basically.
Yeah,
And
you
then
don't
I
want
go
that.
get pita.
Mm-hmm.
I go get like a chicken pita, and I wasn't hungry because I didn't feel hungry, but I realized, wait, I haven't eaten. I just need to
Take
just
care
do
of your body.
something.
Just yeah, any
And so I'm
step to
just
make it.
forcing myself
Yeah.
to eat this food, and I remember just being, oh, tasted god awful. But anyways, so I just forced myself to eat this food for like 30 minutes, and then within like 30 minutes we had tickets to an after party that night, so it worked out. And then I get to the after party, and I'm like having the greatest time of my life, and I'm like, oh, I just need food. The last 5.5 hours
It's
I've been sitting here
huge.
struggling.
It's really
So
huge.
it's a big thing, a big thing. You brought up a point about like you like to live your life, without the best way to make you happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that, or not point out, but bring up, like, you have a very unique life.
I do have a very unique
You
life.
are a full time Uber driver from
I
what you
am.
when we talked.
3 years, baby.
And I don't know anyone that does it full time, and I don't mean that in a bad
No,
way. I hope
I
you
know you
understand.
don't. I know you don't, bro.
I like am so intrigued by this because it is such a different lifestyle, and like
It is.
I had this idea in my head that you could do, or like if you were really adventurous with this Uber thing, is like you could
Uh-huh.
literally travel around the country and Uber in every city and live.
Yeah, I
And
can't quite do it that
why
easily.
can't you do that
You
easy?
have to like you have to be approved to drive in any given city. Like you can't just drive around all over the country giving rides, you know.
Really?
Like I think you need to be familiar with the area you're in
Way to shoot that dream down.
because no, like dude, it
Way
would
to
be a great
end
idea
the
in
podcast.
theory,
You just
but
ended
there's
it. There you
yeah, yeah,
go.
I know. There's just so much else to it. I feel like, there is so much that people don't know about what I do and it is such a different lifestyle than I see it the way like all of my friends go about their
Yeah.
lives and their various jobs and I love the very free flexible life that I
Right. So
live
let's
and
talk
it's
about
just
the free
yeah,
flexible life because it's
yeah,
almost like, in a sense, it's almost like you're a remote worker and you can just work when you want type,
kind
but
of.
even to a better extent because you can work when you want to work. You
Yeah.
don't have to, like, I'm remote and I still have to work 8 to 5,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm remote, so I'm like, yeah, I can do that anywhere I want. Woo! But like, I
Yeah.
have to be on there in those hours. Whereas you just are like, I'll just work tonight at
Oh,
11
it's
p.m.
an
or
everyday
whatever. You know what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's an
yeah, yeah,
everyday
yeah.
mindset.
So
Like,
let's talk about go into your life. Go into
okay.
your. I want to know your day to day. It's let's not do a weekend. Let's do it during the week.
Yeah.
So let's do it's a Wednesday night. It's a Wednesday. You wake up. Boom. What time are you waking up?
Okay, so I work the late night hours. I'll usually start anywhere from 9 to 11 p.m.
No,
And
take me through your
yeah, I'm
Wednesday during
building
the
up
day.
until Wednesday,
Oh,
like
you're
starting
killing me
from
here.
Tuesday night.
The slow build up.
Because, I start at 9 to 11 p.m. Tuesday night, right? So I'll finish at like somewhere from maybe 2 to 4 a.m.
Right.
Like I'm working average 5 hours a night, usually around 30 hours a week. And I'll wake up on Wednesday, hypothetically,
Yeah.
at 2 p.m.
Okay.
And I'll get all my shit that I need to
This might be
do.
my new life. I
Yeah,
hate waking up
I just,
early, bro.
I wake up, I work out, I'm consistent about that because I really feel like it keeps me mentally like stable,
Mm-hmm.
grounded. Anything else I need to do that day will come after the gym when I feel like I'm more mentally in it and focused, and I'll take, 4 to maybe 8 p.m. to just like either get shit done that I need to do that day or just kind of relax and kind of gear up for work, whether that's just, relaxing, watching some sports, playing some video games, whatever. And then I'll get out there at 9 to 11 p.m. And, it's really easy for me to stay in the flow. I think just getting out there can be the hardest part sometimes when you're sitting at home. Um, but yeah, I have a really good workspace where I never am stressed. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just me. I don't ever have to fucking respond to anybody. I'm listening to good music at all times in there, so it really helps me. Like if I get stressed out by a situation, it's really easy to kind of get back to normal. Um, but yeah, it's really cool, and I think it does so much for me to be able to talk to so many different people and hear so many perspectives, and I learn from almost everyone else's experiences in a
Right.
way, and I can use that in my own life. And I think that is, on top of the journalism thing, it really is a huge, huge reason why I connect with people so well is the Ubering. And I had one rider who also does a sort of freelance job like me. She said this quote that really like has stuck with me recently of like I have a journalism degree, and this was never necessarily my dream job, but like this lifestyle that I live is absolutely a dream life.
Yeah.
And I know that if I put my hours in consistently, uh, I can pay my bills. I can pay for whatever the hell I want. Like I don't just have a small amount of fun, right? I pay for a pretty good amount of festivals, honestly. I
Yeah.
know it's a
I mean,
really
traveling to Base Canyon, and
dude.
I know from
I
it
know.
looking into that, like that's not a very for us because we're in Tampa. And if
Yeah,
you go all the way across country,
not an
it's
easy
not a very
trip,
cheap
dude.
festival for us to go to.
No,
Yeah,
it's actually the most expensive
yeah,
festival to go to.
yeah.
Yeah, I am very fortunate that I can just do that, and you know,
So you talked about learning from people and taking different things from people. So I
right?
got two things for you. We're gonna dive into this because I want to know more about the Uber stuff. So we've got
Please.
craziest Uber stories, and I've got your most interesting Uber rides. We're gonna hit
Oh
both of
God.
those. So there's a little bit of a difference there. So let's go with the more casual. What's your most interesting Uber ride you can think of? It doesn't have to be crazy. We'll save the craziness for next.
Yeah,
But maybe
yeah.
someone that you're saying, changed your perspective, brought something to the table where you were like, oh, interesting.
I really have to answer this question a lot, and more often than not, it's almost difficult to come up with an answer, sifting through so many different people and things that I've heard and things that I've seen. There's so many different.
So you came back from the war, bro.
Oh,
He's like,
dude,
the
I
things that
know.
I've
I mean,
seen,
honestly, the
the
Tampa
things I've
roads,
heard.
the Tampa roads can be a war,
I
first
mean,
of all.
yes,
I
yes.
mean, this shit is just ridiculous sometimes.
Okay,
But
so most interesting
um,
story or person.
I'll give you a wholesome one. I think there's a few that kind of come to mind, but one that was really wholesome one time, I remember there was a girl who called this ride for her elderly mother all the way from Panama. She like called her an Uber ride because her elderly mother was trapped in this abusive household or apartment with this guy. Like he's an older guy and he like was abusive to her, this elderly woman, and like I had to pretty much like the mother didn't speak any English either. She barely
Mm-hmm.
spoke anything. So the daughter was on the phone with me the entire time, and I had to like go up to the eighth floor of this elderly woman's apartment building, and I had to like carry a whole bunch of her suitcases full of shit out of her apartment and like meet this abusive guy and like pretty much rescue an old woman from an abusive relationship, I suppose, and like transport her to this hotel in Tampa where she could just, be away from him and not in that situation anymore. And like it took me over an hour, I think, for this entire process to be completed, just this one ride. And um, it was so weird, but it kind of just puts it in perspective, like how much help you really can be sometimes for, if you extend just a little extra mile, just a little bit,
Yeah.
and like picking up suitcases is not difficult for me. But like for how much stuff she had, this elderly woman was never going to be able to get this all down there by himself or by herself. And like when I got her back to this other hotel in South Tampa, like she was just so happy that she was out of there. She was like about to cry, and the daughter was crying on the phone that her mom was okay and safe or whatnot. And you know, they were all so just like appreciative. Like I was like a fucking guardian angel for them in that moment, and that was just like probably one of the more memorable experiences. This happened a while ago, and for me to just be able to recite it so clearly, everything that happened just kind of
Yeah, it stuck with you.
explains, yeah, it stuck
Right.
with me that I was able to do that for somebody, even though it just kind of came out of nowhere and I had no intention of spending an hour on one single interaction.
Right.
But it's just crazy sometimes.
You kind of walk away from those situations and you feel good about it too.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
did
dang,
feel great
I
about
feel,
it.
yeah. Not that you weren't, again, you're not doing it for that reason, but it's like, I don't know, sometimes, like, yeah, just doing like nice things for people and, again, like your intention might be, hey, I'm going to go help for 30 minutes, and then you end up
Right,
helping for
right.
2 hours
Yeah,
somewhere or
it wasn't
whatever, and
intended to be that way, but
it just you walk away feeling like good. I think doing that stuff is important. I mean, helping out, doing helping your neighbor, like that's kind of old school thing to say, but like that saying goes a long way. It's like just doing kind things for other people or just being nice. Like you go to a Starbucks and the barista, you can just tell she's stressed and she's having a
yeah,
good day, and you
absolutely.
just like hey, you just try to be super nice and give a smile and maybe give an extra little tip or whatever, and you
Chat them
see
up a
her
little
just
bit.
like cheer up as she's talking. Like you just see the
Yeah.
turnaround. You can walk away from that and being like, dang, I feel good now. She's probably feeling
Yeah.
better, and like that, you're just like, I just want to help you have a good day.
Just
Like,
treat them like real people and not robots. I mean,
oh
so many
yeah,
people treat them like robots, like they don't even fucking exist beyond their purpose of serving you a fucking coffee or something. I don't
yeah,
know. Like, you just have that sort of emotional understanding and empathy to be able to make any random interaction you have more than what it could be.
100%. Yeah, I mean that's the model I wish more and more people would do around the world. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I
thing
can wish
is
for that
like
too,
if you
but
want to change
shit.
the world, you gotta start by changing you, and it starts by
Yeah.
you being nice. If you want the world, if you're mad at the world and you're mad the world is not nice and yada yada, well, I got news. Like it might not be, but it starts with you being nice. And if you be nice, you're gonna affect somebody else to where they're gonna start being nice to people, and that's
Right.
how it goes. And like that's what it's all starts with. Like, I mean, it sounds cliche. I've heard that before too. It's like clean. The saying I heard was like clean your room before you clean the world. That's essentially what it is, and it's like
Yeah.
that is it's kind of true because it's like if you're saying the world's mean, but you're not being nice to people, well, it's just because people are just kind of feeding your off your energy, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It can go so much deeper beyond just the world being mean or just being nice. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody is going to go through not just like a little bit of shit, a lot of shit. Like,
Oh yeah,
every person in this world has obstacles that they're going to face on any given day, but like your mentalities and the little things that you can do to grow within yourself. Like, I think one thing that's really helped me grow so much within myself has been the free, flexible life that I live that allows me to not be stressed about things like work and be able to give myself so much like room to work on being consistently better and like learning from mistakes and this and that. Because I mean, where I was 5 years ago at 21 compared to now at 26, it's just like fucking night and day. And I'm always, one thing about being happy with where you're at is like you're never 100% satisfied, and you always like there is no pinnacle peak point where you're ever
right.
just like, okay, this is it, this is the best version
Yeah.
of myself. Like,
And if you think you're there, you're just more so like falling into like a comfort zone and just
yeah, yeah,
being chill with where you're at. Because I agree, if you're not learning and you're not building yourself and you're not out there looking at new things, you're just stagnant. And life's about growing. I mean,
yeah.
life's about growing, experiencing new things, learning new things,
Festivals have
seeing new
helped me do that.
cultures, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, and festivals are one thing too. It's just in general doing that stuff is so important to just. I mean, living this life that we live. I mean, what's
Yeah,
the point in being
we don't work to or we don't live to work.
well,
We
yes,
work, yeah,
yes,
we work
yes.
to
But I
live.
mean, you can have those same experiences with work. I mean, I don't want to. That's what I'm saying is it comes
Yeah,
with anything. Like
absolutely. It
you
can
can
come
have
from
that.
anything.
Yeah, as long as you're just trying new things and doing new things and out there trying to learn, like that's all that life's about. Whether you take that and you become a CEO, you ride a boat around the world, like whatever it is that strikes your fancy. 'Cause everyone's different. It's like as long as you're living that out to the max and trying to perpetuate that and grow with it, I think that's the best. And growing individually and all that is, I mean, that's what this is all about, man. It's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have a thing for me. One of the big beliefs I have is like what you put out is what comes back to you. I really believe that. Like to an like whatever
no, no
energy
doubt,
you're
no
putting
doubt.
out, it's coming back. Whether that and
I see
like
that all the time.
applying it to even small things such as like job hunts and whatnot. If you're so about 6 months ago, actually, well, 7 months ago, I was unemployed. I had like didn't have my I got fired, didn't have my job, and now that's a whole different story because it was a blessing. I didn't want to be at the job, but it still was a scary moment to be like, I'm unemployed. I have
Yeah.
no money coming in besides like $300 from unemployment. What's gonna happen? Yada yada. But then it was, all right, I'm gonna still work. Had some buddies that I could do some work under the table for, and I chose instead of like sitting around, I was like, I'm gonna do 20 hours a week. I'm gonna
Yeah.
work, and
Sitting
I'm
around as
gonna
an adult is not
no, it's
not
never
it.
never good.
Yeah.
No. And but I was like, I'm gonna work a little bit, and I'm gonna apply to jobs as my second job. Like, just that's all I'm gonna do. And I felt like the fact that I had been putting job applications and talking to people so much and going through interviews that eventually I landed a job I have now, which is a job I wanted. Like I literally told my
Yeah. I
buddies were like,
fucking love that.
hey, we want you to start come working for us full time. And I was like, I'll work for you full time if I don't get this job. If I get this one job, I'm not gonna do it. And I got the job and I was like, I'm sorry, but this is the one I want. It's the only one I wanted. Yeah.
I always
And
want people to go for what they really want, man.
oh,
Because I
100%.
see
Yeah.
so many miserable people.
Yeah, you again, same thing, like you gotta go do those things because it's better to like say like I tried than to be like I wish I did, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. And
Like
honestly, when
like
you say that,
like in a funny sentence, like there's probably like we've all had a girl in our life where you're like, dang, I wish,
oh
or you're
man,
like, dang, I could have gone a little bit farther. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like
trust me,
that's a funny
I know,
analogy, but
man,
like
I
that's the
know.
truth. Is like there's always something you'd rather been like, I wish I did that versus like I wish I could have done that. Like,
You could, I mean, you're talking about like from the woman aspect, you are learning every fucking thing you do
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
letting it happen again.
Right,
That's for
right.
damn sure. It's hard in this world, man. That's a hard topic these days. But yeah, I'm definitely always wanting to see people like, you know, pursue something they actually are passionate about and not just sit there stuck in their miserable job. Like they just kind of accept that that's the routine of their life and this is where their life is. Like you
Hmm.
have the given power to at least start getting the ball rolling for anything you really want to do. And sometimes I even need to turn that back on myself a little bit. And, as much as I love doing what I'm doing, like I've heard it all before from people about like what else could I be doing or can I do more other than just what I'm doing full time because there's nobody, you know, fucking parents saying it's not a real job for so long, even though I'm literally living a complete independent life. I've had past girlfriends say, you know, oh, do you have a plan 5 years away from now, or are you just kind of like living your life for right now? I
Hmm.
do kind of just live my life for right now, and I mean, I very unapologetically just, you know, live for myself every day, like your motto. Life is full of uncertainty, and it will never not be uncertain, even if like you spend years working towards something.
Yeah, true
Um,
that.
there's zero guarantee it's going to work out. I mean, I just think you need to be able to take the things that you have going well for you and really like
Give it your all
give it your
and
all.
enjoy
Yeah,
it.
like your perspective is everything, and people often get caught up in what makes them feel like they're successful,
Or
what
what other
defines
people's
success.
view
Yeah,
success as.
you,
Yes.
you
Yeah, that's the main
oh
one.
yeah, based off of that, I am very much making a point to never live my life for anyone's expectations
Hmm.
because the way that I have lived my life, which might not be what some people have expected of me in some ways.
Right.
I've heard this before. It's allowed me to be in a place where I'm really fucking happy and comfortable where I'm at in so many different ways of life. But if I had living my life for other people, who knows where I could be at right now, and I don't know how anything could be differently, but I would not fucking have it any other way than how it's been going.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like you gotta think about at the end of the day, it's you're more rich in a sense of like I'm so happy with what I'm doing and so happy with the life I have, versus like if you were to take a corporate journalism job that you hated, and yeah, maybe I make more,
It
but
would be
like
high
I'm
stress, low
right,
pay.
right. I mean, but even not even so. Let's just like the perfect analogy is like you can take a job that pays $120,000 a
Right.
year, that is something you don't want to do. And a lot of people are gonna go, I'm gonna take that money and hope for the best. And
Yeah,
I got
that's
news
really
for you.
it, bro.
That sucks because I've been in a job that I hated and it's not fun. That you end up what happens is you end up, which I think is like how our whole economy almost runs is like you end up spending that money because you're so miserable at your job that
Yeah,
you just
you
are
need
like, I
outlets.
need, right, you need outlets versus like when you have something you enjoy and you like going to do every day, you're more inclined, yeah, you're still going to spend your money, but you're also more inclined to be like, I don't have to go spend my money on dumb, I don't have to go,
Yeah, you
like
don't blow
there's
it on dumb
correct.
things.
There's a fine line between I'm enjoying spending my money on this and I'm just spending this as an outlet because I hate my life. Like there's a
You,
big fine
I
line
see it
between the
all the
two.
time. I see it
Yeah,
all the
I mean,
time.
like, do we like to go get a table at a club here and there? Of course. But like, if
Yes,
we were,
sir.
doing it, and we don't do that
This
every
guy,
weekend.
he knows what I'm talking
But
about.
if we were doing it every weekend because life from the Monday through Friday was so shitty that we were just cannot wait to be at the club on Friday and
Yeah,
blow a
yeah,
$1,000, that sucks because then you realize like you're basically working every week and just blowing a paycheck, and
yeah,
then you're just back, and then it's just a cycle just repeats.
yeah.
And
I
it's
think.
sorry, and
No, go ahead.
to their credit, it is very hard to get out of a situation. The first thing is
It is hard.
identifying that you don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
because it took me a while with my job, my last job, to realize like I don't like this. And
Yeah,
then once I realized it, there was a really long period of time of like, oh shit, I don't like this. I thought I would really like this. What the fuck am I gonna
yeah.
do?
What do you do next?
And that's when people get trapped, is because they're almost scared of saying like, I don't like this and I have to almost start over because this isn't what I thought it would
Yes,
be.
they're scared of the
And
uncertainty of
they get
life.
uncertainty and you get stuck in that. And it took me a couple of months to finally be like, I'm gonna start applying again. I'm starting to go for new jobs. I just can't do this anymore. It took a while. I'll be straight up. And then once I
Yeah,
got the ball rolling, though, then the ball got rolling. And then it's like, then it's all about, once you can get past that and wrap your head around like, this isn't something I liked, I need to do something different, then it's about coming up with a game plan to get out. Because if you
yeah,
don't have that game plan to get out, you're just going to be stuck in that cycle we just talked about of just like, I'm going to spend my money on dumb shit, I'm not saving to get out, versus like, I was like, yes, I was unemployed and I got fired, but I had money, I was ready to go, I was ready, I was like ready to leave, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
for
And so when they
sure.
let me go, I was like, okay, I mean,
Absolutely.
thank you, sir.
You
But
got. I think it's just really important to have things to look forward to in life
mm-hmm.
because there's so many people that go about their lives like kind of pointlessly. Like they don't have things to look forward. I think festivals are really the biggest thing that have given me just always something to look forward to, and they keep me motivated to keep working hard. Like that keeps me motivated is knowing that if I continue to work hard, I have this life experience waiting for me around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's really easy when you're stuck in that rut in between jobs or whatever, like you don't have things to look forward to, and then especially if you don't have an income at that point, then you're kind of just like, okay, what do I do? But
Yeah. I think
it doesn't happen overnight.
I do think our generation is a bit more into like the whole experience things. Like
Yes,
our
yes.
boomer generation is so much caught up in like the material thing of like, I have a nice car, I have a nice home, I have these
Yeah,
nice
I don't
clothes,
need to be a homeowner
and yeah,
by any means. It would be cool, but
I mean, I'm not in any
it's
position
not
to want to do that now,
the
but I do
market.
think like our generation's a lot more into like traveling, going doing new things, the
Understanding.
music event. I mean, not that they weren't in the music, but like there's just, obviously they had that culture too. But I just feel like maybe it's just more apparent now. I just feel like there's
There's
more
more
of it
emphasis
than,
on it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I love that because even my parents, like, I see the differences. Like, I just took my mom, for example, to her first ever rave, and it was Millennium at Hard Rock, and she knows over the years how much I've loved him. And she, like, not to put her
did you put a
business
hundred
out
on
there
black?
or anything, but like, wait, what?
Did you put 100 on black while you were
Oh, fuck off. No, sir. No, sir, I did not. I made it a point to stay away.
there?
Um, but yeah, she's at a very interesting time in her life right now that even I have never seen her at a point of life where she is so free to do things and try new things. And I really wanted her to come with me and try something new. And she actually admitted to me that she had way more fun than she thought she would at this show. And, you know, that made me really happy. And like I did the whole plur candy thing with her, and I was like kind of watching her as the night went on to see how she was like enjoying it, and you know that was super special for sure. That was just one thing recently that stuck out, and I feel like I should mention is that because
Yeah.
I mean the older generations really don't have the same understanding of certain things that we do. Like we're not going to be loyal to jobs that don't care about us anymore. I feel like our generation is slowly but
Oh yeah,
surely
no,
closing
it's
that.
definitely our generation that's like, because it's kind of ridiculous too when like you've been working for a
Yeah.
company and then you see they have record profits and then you're like increase 3%, and you know you could just leave and make an extra 15%. It's like, why would I? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't get why. I also just don't like like I get business. I'm a business owner. I understand that stuff, so I can get the perspective of the business. But I don't understand why they won't reward your own workers more. If
We
this
could go
person
into
is
this
a,
topic for a
you know,
while,
if
couldn't
this
we?
person is an absolute rock star of a person, why are you not giving them the big bucks that they deserve? I don't get it. A lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses are a lot better at that. The issue comes with corporates, like, and I think that's just because of like, corporations they're almost their own entity, and it's a slow-moving entity, and I think they'll
Yeah, they
catch
just don't
up.
care about you.
I think they'll
They
catch
need you,
up.
but like, yeah, I think you're right. They
Yeah,
will catch up.
they're just
We're
slow moving.
starting the process
Yeah,
of the change
yeah,
happening. I mean, just obviously the world has completely shifted since the last generation. That's the biggest thing too. And sometimes you have to take a step back and realize that the boomer generation literally grew up in an entire world without technology. And
yeah.
I don't know how old are you compared to me? I'm
I'm
26.
25.
Okay, so yeah, we're pretty much the same age. And as we've grown up, when we were kids, technology still wasn't really a thing. Like it had just become in the forefront of everyone's lives.
Yeah,
And now we're here, 10, 15 years later, you got self-driving cars, you got, you know, everything in the world is just technological now, and in 10 years every car that they make could be fucking self-driving for all we know. And just
right.
like the world changes at such a faster rate than it did for the previous generation. Like you have to understand, I mean, shit, it's probably not easy for
No.
them, but some of them are trying, and then some of them are stuck in their old ways, and they're never going to just, it's really really hard to break them free from traditional sorts of things. So
Well, I think that's in general when you're old. I don't.
yeah,
I mean,
no,
like
you're right
even
though.
as I've gotten older, there's some times where I can just like I'm a homebody and I'm just chilling and I'm just like I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Just
Yeah,
like I can
of
like
course.
totally. At least me, I can see where I'm like I get it. What at 75, you're like I'm gonna die soon. Why?
Yeah.
You're not gonna change. I'm not gonna sit here and have a freaking epiphany about shit. I'm
Right.
gonna die. Just let me live my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
mean,
really their mentality. Is like just let me live my life.
just let me live
they
my life,
they are
right? They don't want
inherently
to
selfish.
change.
They're inherently selfish, of course. You know.
Change is the only constant in life. That's for damn sure. And,
Yeah,
you
on
know,
outside circumstances for sure. Right. I mean,
yeah.
again, we just
Well,
were talking
yeah,
about that. I
yeah.
think you got to be growing and stuff of that nature. 100%. I think as you get older, it just is more of a challenge because we're creatures of habit at our core. And at 75 years, 85 years of doing things, you're just kind of like, I don't want it to
I'm a creature of
change.
habit at 26.
That's right, exactly.
So, I mean,
And that's what I'm saying is like as they're, imagine adding an extra 26 years and another 26 years on top of that, and you're 76 years old, and you're like, yeah, I've been going to McDonald's 3 times a week. I think I'm just gonna stick with McDonald's 3 times a week. I've
yeah,
been doing it for 30
yeah.
years, you know?
I mean, whether you're 26 or 70, I think you should always be trying to do new things that kind of bring you new perspectives on life, and give you experiences you've never had before, which I'm already kind of feeling like I'm there, where I want to just constantly be doing something new or different that further expands you. So, it is just like kind of a fine line of, yeah, there's some things that I don't ever want to change at this point, but what keeps you like motivated and happy with life at that point? Like I think about, even my grandparents, you know, love them to death. I don't think they really do too much anymore. And I want to see them kind of like find a purpose and sort of like continue to live outside of just, sitting around. And I know a lot of grandparents do that, but like there's also a lot that don't. And, it would just be so cool to be able to like do something really fun with them. And I don't know if they're even capable of doing that anymore. And I always want to keep things fresh. and I hope that like that's the case when I become older, is just keeping my life fresh
Yeah,
and not stagnant.
and the other thing is, it is generational difference. I mean, like their
Yeah,
goals were also a ton different than what our goals are.
right,
I think
right.
our goals are a lot of like, let's travel, let's have fun, let's do this, and not that they didn't want to have fun, but like there just was a different definition. You know, it was like, oh, I can't wait to have that big house and a picket fence. Like, I can't wait to have that Mercedes
Yeah,
Benz. You know,
yeah,
that was their
for sure.
their driving force, whereas ours is a little bit different. Like I know for me, my motivation is so that I don't have to work a 9 to 5. Like that's it. I
Yeah,
want to work
yeah,
remote, or I want to
absolutely.
work 24/7 on my own thing, but I don't want to work a 9 to 5. You know, that's like my motivation. I think that was in their picture. Most people, that wasn't in their picture back then. You know,
No, you're absolutely right.
and that's changed just because of the internet. Same thing, that goes back to technology. So many things have changed. We're coming up on some time here, so I want to hit a few more things.
Already? Jesus.
I apologize, but I want to
Yeah,
know. I want to
that's
go back
fast.
to Uber here. I want to go
Okay,
back. We're gonna
okay.
pivot back to Uber.
Sure.
I need to know your craziest story. So you told me this
Yeah,
interesting, heart endearing one. Give me your craziest one. Go.
okay. I feel like so I have one, but for the most part, like
I
you'd
would
be
hope you
surprised.
have one,
You'd
because
be
I did ask
surprised
for
that
one.
like 99% of the people that I take aren't, on some bullshit. They're just there to get from
Right,
A to B.
right. Most are
Um,
right,
but there
but there are
are
some.
things that happen that make me just fucking laugh and realize that I always have to be on my toes for anything. And of course, I have to bring Hard Rock back into this story, the Tampa Hard Rock. I can never get away from the fucking casino at this point. Um,
We're going after.
so I was picking up
Third
this
time's a
I
guy,
was
charm.
going to say it's a sign.
We're going after.
dude.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So craziest Uber story. Go,
um,
go, go.
this is one that I think a lot of different people, even generational differences, can laugh about. I was at Hard Rock picking up somebody named Scotty, and there's this guy that hops in my car.
We know you're out there, Scott.
He's out there, all
He's
right.
out there.
This guy hops in my car and says he's just going to the gas station across the street and back, and I'm like, "Are you sure you're Scotty? It says you're going to American Social." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I am. I'm just going to the gas station back." So I'm like, "Okay, I guess I have to believe you, right? All I can do is say your name, and if that's you, that's you." So he gets in the car, and I go to the Wawa across from Hard Rock, and we pull into the parking lot, and then the real Scotty calls me on the phone, and I was just like, "Dude, I fucking knew it. Get the hell out of here." And I left him at Wawa. I go back to Hard Rock, and the guy standing there is Scottie Pippen, and
The real Scotty Pippen.
the actual Scottie Pippen.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah. So I
What?
like pulled back in there, and his 7 foot ass is just standing there. He was promoting a bourbon event or something for his line of bourbon at Hard Rock that night, and I happened to be the guy that was taking him to American Social, and so not only do I have Mr. Scotty in my car, but like,
Mr. Pippen.
yeah, dude, I've given so many rides. Never in my life has anybody hopped in my car and intentionally stolen someone's ride for their own stupid little agenda. Like, no one's ever stolen someone else's ride on purpose before. Like, if you're in the wrong Uber, you're like, okay, I'm in the wrong Uber. You get out, it's an accident. But on purpose, no. And then the
Yeah.
only guy who's ever had his ride stolen
Was Scotty Pippen.
was Scottie Pippen.
So how was Scotty Pippen? Tell us about
I
that.
mean, it
That's
was
a
a
memorable
really
ride.
like,
I have to understand. I'm sure that's a memorable ride.
yeah, I mean, it was memorable to have him in there, but for sure. But I didn't like seemed pretty drunk and tired, to be honest with you, after his bourbon
Was he
event,
like,
and
man,
like,
Jordan ain't shit without me?
dude, this is like
Come
right
on,
out, oh my
anything
god,
crazy?
dude. He did not say anything crazy. Like, I thought about
It's like, man, that
cracking
should
a
have been,
couple.
my Air Jordan shoe. That should have been my shoe up
Yeah,
there.
I thought about
Should have
cracking
been
a
Air
couple
Pippen.
Chicago
Should have been
jokes.
Air Pippen. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I didn't like really make it apparent that I knew it was him. I just kind of like treated him like another guy, and obviously I know it's him, but like I'm just kind of talking to him about random various things, nothing like crazy.
Like, see, play
But
any sports?
yeah,
He's
yeah, I was
like,
gonna say, yeah, you're really tall, man. You ever thought about getting into basketball?
yeah, he's like, hey, I swam.
Yeah, oh my God, dude. Yeah, it was just it just was really cool because, I've had him in my car. I've had a couple Lightning players in my car over 3 years, like Braden Coburn, Eric Chernak. I had Nick Paul in my car recently, but like I never want to really like go crazy and be like, "Oh, holy shit, what's up, dude? How you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
I
So
kind of like
you just have a
smile a
Sharpie
little
and a
bit.
hat and just lean back. You go, sign that
Dude,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah. I don't even do that either. I actually want to like kind of talk
I
to
would
them
start
as
leaving.
people.
You literally should start leaving a lightning hat in the middle seat. You just do that,
Yeah,
and then if you
yeah,
ever pick them up, they're like, "Oh, you like it?" You're like, "Yeah, I like
dude.
it." Dude, now you might as well. You've done it. It's 3 times, so the odds that it happens again are pretty high.
Yeah, I definitely am always on my toes for I have no idea
So,
who hops in my car at any given time, and that's part of the whole like understanding different perspective things is that you really never know who you're talking to.
so
And
no crazy story. No drunk bitches screaming,
I mean,
hollering, trying
bro,
to hit you.
yeah,
No ex boyfriends
we've
trying to
had
get in a
some
car.
interesting drunk bitch stories. There's no doubt about
That's what I'm
that.
talking.
Like,
That's some
I
craziness. Give me
mean,
one. Give me one.
they,
There's
some
gotta be
of
one
them
that
get
sticks out.
some of them get flirty every now and then. A
There you
lot of the
go.
time that I was Ubering, I have had a girlfriend though. So like probably 2 of the 3 years that I've been Ubering, I've had a girlfriend.
So
But I was always like,
you've never gone home with a
you gotta
rider.
let me finish. You gotta
There we
let me
go,
finish.
baby. Is what we're talking about.
Oh my God. So I
I'm gonna start Uber
actually
driving. I'm
after my whole life, right?
every
You
Friday
know,
night.
I
Check me
spent
out.
my whole life being like almost a chaser in terms of like,
Right,
a lot of guys
as
are
most
just,
men are. Yeah,
right, like you
yeah.
just chase, right? And I really, especially during the time when I had a girlfriend, I would really enjoy almost the act of like turning them away when, because most women don't really like when they know their value, right? They know that they're fucking gorgeous or whatever, and when they come on to somebody, they expect you to give in to do whatever they want. And I think it almost kind of felt nice to be able to like actively reject them because it would give me like this power that I've never had before where but I will say there was a time where I was taking a group of people from near where I live to the Ritz, obviously, and I immediately saw the pashminas. I knew what was going on. Like we started talking it up, and then I ended up talking to one of them for like 4 months, and it's kind of crazy how
Yeah.
that shit goes. And I mean, even if it never turned out into anything like serious or long term, like just the fact that that even happens out of
Mm-hmm.
pure coincidence is just nuts to me. And you know if I was 5 minutes away down the street, maybe I don't get that ride, and it's all just so time and place. And like I really, you know I've said it over and over again over the years, but like the universe, that's the fucking universe putting me in this particular position.
Right.
And then I get matched up with somebody who has very strongly the same interests of me. And then I've met and raged with probably like 15 people that I've had as my Uber riders. I've met up with them at some point at a festival. Shit is just, it's awesome. It's awesome to me. And it's one of those things where I'm playing some grimy shit when they hop in the car and they just know.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely nothing that needs to be said. They know, and it's an immediate like way to connect. And even recently, like I had somebody in my car, and I didn't even know who they were, and there's connections that get made, and I'm like, oh, I know you already from this person or this person. And it's like, oh, I know who you are, but it's so dark I can't even see their faces half the
Yeah.
time when I'm driving. So, you know, now I just keep building up, like whether it's from festivals or from rides, like I keep stacking up these really fucking awesome people in my life, and it
You should.
really fulfills me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I bet. That's great. Always great meeting people.
It
So I
is.
have an idea for you. I'll share it after this. I won't share it on on the podcast. I got a funny idea for you.
Okay.
No,
Okay, I
no,
can
no,
only
nothing
imagine.
crazy,
I
nothing
can
crazy.
only
This is a
imagine.
funny idea. Well, I got one more question for you. I'd
Sure.
love to have you on talking about Uber and the crazy stories, but
Yeah,
I
go
ask
ahead.
every guest this. And so, how are you? How do you live yourself every day?
Well, I think living for myself every day is, I don't necessarily have it as a set in stone motto the way that you do, but I certainly think about it informally that way in so many different times of my life where, like I said earlier, I never live for anybody else's expectations. I live for myself knowing that my entire life falls on my shoulders and my own motivation. No one's going to tell me to get out there and work every
Mm-hmm.
day. Like nobody does. I have to, stop what I'm doing, make it a point to get out there, and I always have to like kind of mentally prepare myself that day where if I know that I'm working and then like somebody hits me up with plans or something, I have to like stick to my guns and be like, I'm sorry, I just fucking can't, even though there's nobody making me come in. Like it's just one of those things where I'm very fortunate to have almost the entire control of my life in my hands, and everything I do is me living for myself, like everything I
Yeah.
do. So having me on your podcast, if that's your motto, is just like perfectly hand in hand, because I am so able to live for myself every day that it allows me to have so much more to give to all the people in my life, because I can be there for them in 100 different ways, because I have already like watered my own plant, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to do that actively and never stop doing that. And if I recognize a problem that needs to be fixed, like I'm not just gonna let it fester. So I really am proud of where I'm at right now, and it allows me to be there for so many of my friends who have given me a lot. Like I never want to let them forget what they gave me. You know, I'll always fucking reciprocate that.
Yeah.
So living for myself every day allows me to really, really flourish a lot of connections with my people.
Yeah.
So they keep me going.
It's beautiful. I think there's definitely, I read a quote recently where uh, people think that with discipline you're not free, but the reverse is true. With discipline comes freedom,
The
because
discipline frees me.
your
Yeah.
freedom is in that discipline of knowing the things you have to do, and then knowing exactly when you can go have fun and not care, not have to worry. Like there is a certain level, and obviously you example that discipline portion to a T is of like, I know I got to work these days, but I also know that when I'm off, man. I don't gotta do anything. And
Yeah,
and
I don't
and
have to do
and
shit.
and you could have the discipline to say I'm gonna work 2.5 weeks straight because I know I'm going to take off 2 days after, but I know for those 2 days after, I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
anything. So but that discipline discipline is something very hard to manifest and actually activate and do. I mean, I struggle with discipline
It's not
I can
easy, even
no,
for
and
me, bro.
it's
Yeah.
not easy, but that's what builds. I mean, that's the same thing with the gym, the same thing with your job, like all
Yep.
that stuff. It all comes down to the discipline portion, and man, it's a very powerful tool. I mean, motivation is one thing. Motivation gets you started, but
Yeah.
that discipline is what keeps you going. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on. This is awesome. This was super fun. I hope you had a good time.
Dude, yes,
We
I had
were
a good time.
we were cracking the jokes there toward the end here, but we'll next time
Yeah,
we'll have them
dude.
early, man. We'll have them ready early. But
Yeah.
no, I appreciate you coming on, taking some time out of your night, and
Yeah,
doing this. So
absolutely.
meant a lot. Great to meet you. Tell everybody where they can follow you if you'd like, or I'll put it in the
Yeah.
caption. But
Yeah. So my last name is Donofrio. It's pronounced that way. All my handles though, I just kind of have a play on my last name, where my handles are Donofritos, even though that's not how you pronounce my last name. It's just kind of a play on words there, and from Twitter to Instagram to Xbox gamer tag,
so
those are
what is
my
the
those are
handle?
Dono Fritos.
Okay, there you
Like
go.
that's it. Um, so yeah, I always love to meet new people, especially meet new ravers, and I'm always like here for anybody who needs me, even if I don't fucking know you. So it's really cool to. I'm just really happy to be able to live the life that I want to live, and I never want to like let anyone's outside perspective of my life like change how I live it, because that's already kind of happened a lot, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
really just, if anything, doubled down on
Yeah.
continuing to do what I know makes me happy, instead of like trying to succumb to other people's thoughts of how I should live my fucking life.
Yeah. If you do you and you live yourself happily and you're not living yourself in like a cunty way to other people,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
falls
that's
into
one way
place,
to put
man.
it.
Everything
Yeah,
falls. Well, I mean, because like I always say this. I've emphasized this on podcasts. But like, yes, the theme is live yourself every day, but the theme of mine isn't live yourself every day and be a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like
oh
you
yeah,
can be
oh yeah,
nice and still do you and reciprocate. Just anyways, that's all I like to emphasize that. 'Cause some people are like, yeah, I need to be more about me, and then they take that and they're like selfish as fuck. No, that's not what I mean at all.
dude,
Like
yeah.
you can be yourself and be kind, and
No, I really do
super
like,
important.
your quote, because I do live such a different life than a lot of people at the age of 26. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that are out trying to establish a career and do things that they're working towards long term, and I love to see everybody just like doing their thing, like working hard. But I'm an enigma in many ways, and I know that. And there's a lot of people who have questions about how I live my life, and there's a lot of people who don't fully understand it at all until I start to explain it to them. So, I mean, I just hope that I can maybe change some thoughts about what really matters in life, and like maybe inspire a couple people here and there to just do some cool shit that might be out of their comfort zone, because that's really how you grow, is just getting out of your comfort zone and
Yep.
trying something that might make you a little jittery or something like that. Like I've never even been a podcast guest before, despite, my major and everything. I've never been a guest on someone's podcast, let alone like on video for an hour straight. But it felt like almost natural, and I'm happy that I decided, like, when you were looking for people in person to come on this podcast, I was like, you know what? I think this would be a cool thing. I think this would be a cool thing to do. Like, you seemed like a cool guy. I'd followed you for a long
Hmm.
time, and you're in the area. You're not far away from me at all. So I'm glad that I did this, and I definitely appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
We are gonna end the show.
Yeah.
Follow him, Zach DeFree. What your handle again? You got one more time. I'm so sorry.
Donna
Donna
Fritos.
Frito. I
Yes.
apologize. I didn't want to. I
Yes.
didn't want to butcher it. All right, buddy.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace. See you guys.